Hello and welcome to Spectrum TV News at 9. I am Francis Oyima Edet, coming to you live from Uyo, the capital city of Akwa Ibom State. Let's take a look at the headlines. President Tinubu appoints Koka Odusote, NIMC's new DG. Governor Moino flags off construction of access road of Spring Road, popularly known as Garati School Road, with outfall drain in Ikorokpene local government area. Plus, Europe endures another summer of wildfires, droughts amid scorching temperatures. We will bring you details of these stories and more in a moment. Many thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with the first citizen of Nigeria, President Bola Tinubu, who has today ordered the Director General and CEO of the National Identity Management Commission, NIMC, Aliyu Abubakar Aziz, to commence a 90-day pre-retirement leave. A directive takes effect on August 24, 2023, leading to Aziz's eventual retirement from service on November 24, 2023. This is contained in a statement signed by presidential spokesperson Ajure Ngelale. Tinubu has also approved the appointment of Bisoye Koka Odusote as the acting Director General and CEO of NIMC for a 90-day period. His appointment takes effect on August 24, 2023, after which a full term of 4 years will begin as a substantive NIMC Director General and CEO on November 24, 2023. Furthermore, President Tinubu approved the appointment of Yusuf Buba Yakub as the Director and CEO of the Directorate of Technical Aid Corps, DTAC. This follows the recent expiration of the tenure of the former DTAC Director and CEO, Dr. Pius Oshun-Yikanim. The appointment takes immediate effect. Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu today met with some critical stakeholders on the ECOWAS intervention in the crisis in Niger Republic. The delegation, headed by Nigerian former head of state General Abdul Salami Abubakar, was at the presidential villa to brief the president on the present demand of the Niger coup junta. President Tinubu is the chairman of the Authority of the Heads of State and Government of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS. Recall that the Niger's coup leader had proposed a 3-year transition of power after meeting a delegation of West African leaders and warned that any attack on the country would not be a walk in the park for those involved. General Abdulrahman Tijani, speaking on national television late on Saturday, gave no detail on the potential transition, saying only that the principles for the move would be decided within 30 days at a dialogue to be hosted by the ruling military council. Speaking to State House reporters after the meeting, General Abdul Salami, retired, said the meeting with the president formed part of efforts to see a way of settling the political crisis after the military overthrew the democratically elected president.
As you are aware, the ECOWAS heads of state have made me an envoy to Niger Republic, and over the weekend we were there to see the military people and discuss to find the way out of the lacuna we find ourselves. So that's why I'm here this afternoon, together with the president of the ECOWAS Commission, to give a report back to Mr. President on our discussion in Niger. I must say that our visit to Niger has been very fruitful in that it has opened an avenue to start talking, and hopefully we will get somewhere. Well, like I said, we started talking. We made their own points, and then I made my report to the chairman of the ECOWAS Heads of State and President. He will now consult with his colleagues, and then the ding-dong starts, and we'll get somewhere, hopefully. Hopefully, diplomacy will see the better of this thing. Nobody wants to go to war. It doesn't pay anybody. But then again, you know, our leaders have said, if all fails, and
attending the meeting where the president of the ECOWAS Commission, Dr. Omar Toure, and the National Security Advisor to the President, Nuhu Ribadu. In the meantime, Vice President Kashim Shettima says President Bola Tinubu is very passionate about empowering micro, small and medium enterprises, MSMEs, for the development of the nation's economy. The Vice President stated this today when he spoke with journalists during his tour of exhibition stands at the BRICS Trade Fair. Speaking further about the commitment of President Tinubu towards empowering the MSMEs, he said the President is a very compassionate leader and that in the coming months there will be changes in the fortunes of Nigeria. The Vice President commended the organizers of the trade fair, which had about 180 exhibitors from various sectors of the economy.
Well, I'm quite impressed by the investments Nigerians are making in South Africa. This is a harbinger of greater things to come. Nigerians are active in the digital economy, they're active in fashion, they're equally active in mining. I'm quite glad that quite a number of our countrymen are doing well and are willing to partner with the home nation for the greater glory of the African continent. The Cassava project that Rosebank is funding is worth 40 billion naira. It's a game changer in the cassava value chain, which we hope that is going to be reflected in other parts of the country. The President is very passionate about empowering MSMEs, about empowering our youth and women to be catapulted to the workspace that will enable them to support their families and add value to the nation. It's a modern...
While praising Rosebank, a Nigerian investment outfit in South Africa, for the funding of the cassava project worth 40 billion naira, the Vice President affirmed that it is a game changer with the cassava value chain with its huge economic benefits and hope that it will be reflected in other parts of the country.
As part of the side activities lined up for the Vice President, we thought it fit to see part of the industrial and developmental sides of our South African companies, as well as the input of Nigerians into the South African economy. That is why we started the tour of the business and exhibition center with a visit to the Nigerian stands. He has seen the Nigerian entrepreneurs on display, and we are also looking at the South African companies with which we have already established some business links, and discussions are at advanced stage on how to partner together in the spirit of the South-South cooperation, as well as the activation of Africa Continental Free Trade Area. Yes,
the Vice President was accompanied to the trade fair by Nigeria's High Commissioner to South Africa, Ambassador Mohammed Haruna Manta, the Consul General Ambassador Andrew Edie, and other senior government officials. In another development, the British police have charged a former Minister of Petroleum, Diezani Alison Madueke, with bribery offences. According to reports, the UK police today said they suspected she had accepted bribes in return for awarding multi-million-pound oil and gas contracts. A 63-year-old ex-minister served during the administration of former President Goodluck Jonathan from 2010 to 2015. She was the president of the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC. Away from that, the newly appointed Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Dr. Beta Edu, has expressed the federal government's commitment to lift 133 million Nigerians out of poverty. Edu disclosed these when she assumed office in Abuja and held maiden meetings with the chief executive officers of the agencies under the ministry. She assured Nigerians of a determination to ensure transparency and accountability during her tenure as minister. The humanitarian minister explained that the ministry will achieve the target through different interventions and initiatives aimed at lifting millions of Nigerians out of poverty. Meanwhile, the newly installed Minister for Information and National Orientation, Idris Muhammad, has assured the staff of the ministry and various stakeholders that his tenure will have a ministry that is open and accountable to Nigerians. He made the comments following the inauguration of 4 to 5 confirmed ministers designate yesterday at the conference center of the State House in Abuja. Idris revealed that the national orientation will form the core of the ministry's mandate, in addition to information dissemination, cautioning Nigerians against spreading fake news and urging members of the press to cross-check their information before dissemination. In the meantime, the Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, has sought the support and cooperation of the paramilitary agencies which are under the supervision of his ministry. The paramilitary agencies under the ministry include the Nigeria Correctional Service, the Nigeria Immigration Service, the Federal Fire Service, and the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps. Tunji-Ojo, who was one of the ministers appointed by President Bola Tinubu and sworn in, held a maiden meeting shortly after the swearing-in ceremony. The minister called for synergy among the paramilitary service chiefs, charging them to be up and doing in their respective agencies. To the Green Chambers now, where the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Benjamin Kalu, has asked the Minister of Works, Dave Umahi, to consider road investment funds to accelerate the development of infrastructure in Nigeria. The Deputy Speaker stated this while delivering a goodwill message at a reception held in honor of the former governor. Kalu said the Road Investment Fund will prove an alternative means of funding roads and other infrastructure. He noted that in the face of financial constraints, the government must consider leveraging private funds through public-private partnerships. To education now, where the National Youth Service Corps NYSC has commenced orientation camp in Maiduguri, the Borno state capital, for the first time in 13 years after the exercise was suspended in 2011 due to Boko Haram insurgency. Serving in Batch B Stream 2 Corps members at a temporal orientation camp in the state capital, NYSC coordinator Muhammad Adamu credited Borno State Governor Babagana Zulum for facilitating the return of the orientation course to the state. According to reports, the Corps members are camped at the Arabic Teachers College, which is serving as a temporary orientation camp amidst tight security by the military, police, civil defense and civilian joint task force. The Corps members, comprising 629 males and 496 females, prepare for swearing in. On his part, Zulum expressed delight at the return of the orientation camp in the state, stating that the gesture signified the return of peace and security to the state after years of insurgency. Away from that, the Niger Delta Development Commission (NDDC) has said that it has begun a process that would eliminate duplication and wastage and put an end to the era of working at cross purposes with state governors in the region. The Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of NDDC, Samuel Ubuaku, made this known in his address during the forum of the 2024 Budget of Reconstruction Conference in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State. He said the stakeholders' forum was aimed at providing a platform for achieving an effective budgeting system in line with the renewed hope project of the federal government. In a separate development, the Federal Inland Revenue Service (FIRS) has said that all shipping companies operating within Nigeria's territorial waters have been given December 31st, 2023 deadline to settle any outstanding tax returns. The deadline was contained in a public statement issued and signed by Executive Chairman, Federal Inland Revenue Service (FIRS), Mohammed Nami. The order came after two previous statements issued by the agency in June and December 2021. The two earlier directives outlined the basics of taxation for international shipping lines and urged them to sort out their tax responsibilities within 3 months. The FIRS stated that if any shipping companies fail to comply with the deadline, the agency will work with relevant security agencies to prosecute defaulters. In politics, Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi, Abia State Governor Alex Otti, and the LP National Chairman Julius Abure, among other party members, today stormed Owerri, Imo State for the party's governorship campaign flag-off. Obi, a former governor of Anambra State, and Alex Otti, among others, were received by the party's governorship candidate Senator Athan Achonu and other Labour Party chieftains at the event. Speaking during the flag-off, which witnessed a large turnout of party members and supporters, the Abia State Governor Alex Otti maintained that the Labour Party has only one authentic candidate and the full weight of the party is with him. Also speaking, Peter Obi said Labour Party's Athan Achonu will address the state's challenges if elected. In another development, a 9-man committee vested with the responsibility of streamlining ministries, boards, and parastatals, as well as extra ministerial departments and agencies, has been constituted by Governor Abu Kefas of Taraba State, making the announcement today through his Chief of Staff, J.J. William. The governor said the committee is tasked with the duty to sort boards, parastatals, and agencies with a view to placing them appropriately in order to achieve maximum results. The committee is headed by former Minister of Water Resources, Obadiah Ando. Its members include former Head of Service of the Federation, Danladi Kifasi, former Head of Service to the Taraba State Government, Augustine Bazing, and former Chairman of the Civil Service Commission, Christopher Damu. Others are Dr. Isa Mohammed Hamza, Habila B. Bala A., representative of the Ministry of Justice, a representative of the Chief of Staff, and the Permanent Secretary Establishment. The statement made available to journalists in Jalingo, the state capital, disclosed that the committee is expected to come up with the appropriate functions and mandates of the MDAs, as well as the right nomenclatures for them. We move to Lagos State, where the state governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, has barred political appointees from appointing personal assistants. Henceforth, this is coming ahead of the final approval of 38 members' cabinet designate by Lagos State House of Assembly, as well as inauguration by the governor. A directive, it was gathered, has generated different reactions from the public, which view the appointment of PAs as a form of job creation for the teeming populace. The new state government's policy was contained in a circular dated August 18, 2023, with signed by the head of service, Hakeem Mori Okonola. Elsewhere, Governor Sharif Oborevwori of Delta has directed members of the State Executive Council to prioritize the interests and welfare of the state above ethnic considerations. Oborevwori gave the directive in Asaba today while swearing in 26 commissioners in the state with a charge for them to remain humble and shun ethnic politics. The governor reminded the commissioners that they were rather privileged to be appointed based on the number of qualified persons in the state. Back here, Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Omoino has flagged up the construction of a 1.1 kilometers spring road project, the dilapidated access route to Goretti Secondary School in Ikorekpene local government area with a 0.875 kilometers outfall drain. Speaking during the event, the governor, who thanked the people of Ikorekpene for their overwhelming support during the electioneering period that contributed to his emergence, as the governor again promised to sustain his administration rural development drive and disposition that will be favorable to rural communities. While stating that he may not be able to reach everybody individually, the governor expressed the belief that through his developmental projects, he will be able to touch the greater majority of the people. He used the occasion to charge the youth to develop their skills and register with the relevant government agencies, as the government is ready to support them to succeed. He also urged them to emulate the managing director of UNK Construction Company, Engineer Keme Eyo, who is the contractor handling the road project. According to the governor, giving the job to the young contractor is a demonstration of his administration's preparedness to patronize skillful youths in Akwa Ibom who are determined to be best in their various fields.
I want to thank Ikorekpene for the overwhelming support they gave to us during the campaigns and ensuring that they cast their vote for us. By the grace of God, we will not disappoint you. We will do the best we can. And want to thank members of other political parties that have come out here to join us. Development doesn't have to be on any political party platform. Development just have to do with whoever is there, who wants to do development. Party is a platform to contest election. And when you finish, you go back and develop the places, go back to the people.
In their various goodwill messages, the stakeholders and people of Ikorekpene commended the governor for embarking on the life-torching project, stressing that it will go a long way in improving the living conditions of the people.
This is a decimal point, a signature project for this particular community. So we want to thank you. There's nothing that opposition didn't do because of this project, but we still turn out our vote to support you because the people trusted in you and they knew that you deliver this road. God will bless you. God will bless you. God will bless your administration. Your Excellency, because of what you have done here, we said it's from 2023 to 2031. Carry go.
I want to thank you for approving this project immediately. And I know the contractor has promised 3 months. Definitely, this project will be completed in a record time.
Your Excellency, we have come. I stand on behalf of the youth of Ikorekpene local government area to say thank you. Your Excellency, when you came for the campaign tour, the youth of Ikorekpene included this road in the raffia bag that was presented to you. Your Excellency, we are happy today that you have considered fixing this road for us. Thank you very much.
Government House correspondent General reports that the people used the occasion to again assure the governor of the readiness to support him to succeed in his lofty plans for the people of Akwa Ibom. And still to come in the news, delegates from the world's major emerging economies meet in Johannesburg for the BRICS Summit today. To stay with us.
Every society is premised on the quality of relationships forged by its inhabitants. The health of these relationships determines how well people, relationships, organizations thrive and how long they stick together. Join Uyai Anyekan on Connect every Wednesday from 6 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. and on Sunday 2:30 to 3 p.m. on channel 421 on Star Times to catch all the conversations, interviews, real stories and how to navigate relationships and family life in the 21st century. Real people, real faces, real stories. Connect live on Spectrum Television.
One truth not often told is about the transformation that Africa has undergone in recent decades. Africa is shaping its own destiny and should be referred to as the African opportunity. On Spotlight Africa, we paint the African picture the African way, laced with truth, detail, and the color of the African continent. Join Uyai Anyekan every Tuesday and Thursdays at 4:30 p.m. Spotlight Africa, telling the African story.
Business exists only to meet the needs of the people, but there's an extra advantage if your product and services are pitched on a platform that gives you the added advantage over your competitors. For your desired return on investment and so much more, advertise on Spectrum Television, on StarTimes DTH Channel 421 and on free-to-air with a frequency of 12733. Spectrum Television, broadening your horizon.
Many thanks for staying with us, and now to continue with the rest of the news stories. We move to Africa, where a summit of the BRICS group of nations, Brazil,